Hello and welcome. Today we have a very special occasion. I finished my AdMac army, and for that occasion we are going to rebuild one of my first ever conversions I ever did. This was this boy here, the Saint of the Plants. I was very proud when I did this model, but I have come far and now we are going to remake it. For this I have my AdMac bits ready, also some other parts, and this here. This is the human part of the Ariel the Ether Queen, because I used the bug in one of my tank conversions for the AdMac, and I still have her perfectly on a sprue, so we can use her for the conversion. I was thinking we have the lower body of Bevisaurus Call, because I used the upper body again for another conversion. Today we are doing a lot of recycling, and the upper part will be Oriole. Also, because we are sticking in the same theme, I've already made here my base ready, which is basically just a cap from a container we are going to reuse. So, let's go! So I built her up as per instructions until this point here, and now I was thinking of cutting right here below the belly button, so we can attach the model to this point here. And to cover up the gap, we also have this small little plate here we can use for covering that up and also making the model feel more coherent. What I also did was cutting off her hair. It was, I think, not really an AdMac thing to have. We will shave this down a bit more and probably cover that up with like macadendrites or cables. And also I removed some like dangly bits and filigree she has. We will probably tone it down a bit more the later on we go into the build. Also we'll cover up her cleavage. This is not very also an AdMac thing to have, but we will start off with cutting her in half. Why I waited for this part to fully cure out, which is not fully cured out, so we will not try to touch it that much. I attached the wings and the arm, and I was now wanting to talk to you about the general idea or parts I will use. I will try to stick as close as possible to my previous vision, that as the diorama is built, like we have the barren parts in front and the nature part behind, so it has like a built-in terraformer, I think was my idea back then, and I still like that idea. And we will incorporate that on that base. So I was thinking of planting the model as far back as possible, which is already halfway mostly. And then we have plenty of space to incorporate both parts of our transformation process. Little update, I made a little arm out of some sprues that will hold my TVs, in a row, like so. So we can add like some console she has like right in front of her belly, which we can then do like little tippy tap hands that working on that, built onto it. For the back, I was thinking we have here this attachment port. We can use here one of my sci-fi bits and make like a little growing chamber. I'm still figuring out the directions, but I think if we turn it upside down, we have this cable. This then perfectly fits into here if we cut off this little antenna she has here. We can like attach it here, and then we have like a perfect part that fits there, and we can also put something here on top. I think I will do that. I need to be a bit more careful. We have here the servitor skull on the side that is curing at the time, and it loves to move. All the components are dried now and are sturdy. I attached here the display board. I found that only 2 work better than the just 3. Also attached like little arms here already. And I also went into Blender and quickly whipped up a little axe with my logo that you can't really see because it's everything in one color, but if we paint it you can see it. And I was thinking we just put it here, have it there, maybe like in a slight angle, but I'm still trying to find a correct hand to do it. I already have here this part of a servitor ready. It was like an arm that we can attach maybe like so to the already existing arm, and then just build a clamp around this because I can't be bothered to sculpt a hand or make a hand. And the hand from the spear she is originally wielding is a bit too fiddly, and I also printed this in one piece, and I would not like to cut that up to make that fit because cutting up resin is not so nice. I found something for the axe. I think this is a piece of a leg, but it like perfectly holds the axe in place and really looks weird. And then I went ahead and I added a little servitor head and some hands here that point to the screen. Servitor head is surveying everything. He has like a bit of a neck issue, but yeah, he should visit a chiropractor. And we also have one on our tank and some little arms. And I really like how this is coming together and how it is looking. And I think we can now put some green stuff on top. I was thinking like we can drape her things a bit more, or like make a bit more cloth so it looks more appealing, but I already like how it... So this is how it is currently looking. I added my green stuff, cables, and also like some like flowing bits on the side, and also put up the base, or like made a rough layout on how I want to have my model laid. I was thinking we can place it a bit more like off the base here, and then we have like a clean cut of nice greenery to desert wasteland here, and then can paint that up differently, having a nice transition. Look at that, what a beauty. We just combined several different pastes, my home mixture of gesso, and I put it now into like a little jar, so I have it ready. It's like sand, baking powder, and some rocks together, so I have like this nice stony, gritty texture paste, and then I also have like some rust texture paste, which will turn out very earthy, and it's nice. And then some crackle paint here, so I was thinking this could be the desert part, and I transition it this way so we can have some nice foliage here and then go more bleak that way. But for the crackle paint to fully set and everything, we need to lay that aside and let that dry, and then we come back later. For painting, I started off with dark green over black primer. I airbrushed this on just for convenience. It works faster for me that way. I painted the rest of my army just normally with a paintbrush, so this was a special occasion. I started off, like I said, with a dark green and then highlighted with a bit of yellow in my green. And later on I also used some fluorescent yellow to really make it punch. So here's where we're at currently. I painted the wings and also started painting the screens. And I just wanted to quickly show how I did it. I just did it like I did on the tutorial you can check out in the top right corner, but maybe a little refresher is helping. I based my thing I wanted to have the screen appearance or the digital look on the surface, the darker color. And then I just take my lighter color and put this on my top facing part. This here, like this, halfway. Then I take a clean brush, and while it is still wet, we are feathering it out. And we are going from downwards up to our just painted area. And because our green paint is still wet, we drag it a bit more downwards and have still some now onto the brush, even though we use the clean one. And then we just clean it out again and do the same on the lower parts until we mainly just push water up again. You can also, instead of a up motion, use a zigzag pattern to blend the two layers more nicer together. If you just use one motion, you can make like a falling effect. If we take a bit of green on our brush, we can, because our surface is still a bit wet, drag our green down and that created like some streaks that are going from top to bottom, or you can use it the other way. And then if you really want to push that up, we can take more green, so we have the thicker consistency, and just dab it a bit on our edges of our thing. So push that here a bit more into the corners. Do a few more streaks. And then now it's looking really like it's rising from below or from up. It's however you want to place it. I wanted to place it like this. I just wanted to show it off as demonstration. I don't really need that currently, so we can just blend it away again. I think I need a bit more green here. We are losing our layer a bit. Yeah, this is the basic concept. And of course you can refine it more if you like it, to have a smoother blend, or you can keep it a bit more choppy to have a bit more of a characteristic with showing of brush strokes and everything, but this is how I do it, the basic flow of my work. For at least screens or liquids you can do, we already see like if my light catches it, yeah, we can, because we have a wet surface now, we can also see a nice reflection. So later on, if we still remember, we can place a nice white reflection line going down here, making it look more like a glass surface. And if you take a photo now, you can have it as a reference later. Or what other people do, what I saw, is just wet the surface of everything, if they have it just prime black, and then take a photo of that to create those reflections. Because depending on how we look at it, if you see, if I pinch it up downwards, you see that my reflection point is down here. So depending on how you want your viewer to see how your reflections are, it depends on your viewing angle. For this back part, I was thinking I wanted to have something floating in here. I made some sketches on my iPad. I figured out, I think I wanted to have like a ghostly person in there. I think I will start off with sketching out the outlines and making the rougher shapes and then refining it. I was thinking if I can get it to look like it is like banging onto the glass of the thing, or like pressing his hands against it. I think that could be a cool idea. So let's see how it goes. We are almost done. I painted in most of the details. Painted here the eggs and the face. I also did like the servitor skulls and the little details in here. For this thing I was thinking we can put over a layer of UV resin to give it that final shine. What is missing now is the OSL effects. I would like to have the screen lights shine up and also this hand part here to glow outwards. And then we are fairly done. So now that we have the base painted up, I think it is time to join it together with the model, and then we can put on some tufts to make it look cool, and then we are done.